and he has something to share.
Swiatly, Leonard J, B588843, A positive, Navy, Catholic. Speaking on behalf of the VFW, I am also a life member of the AMVETS, the Mobile Riverine Force, and the River Patrol Boat Associations. I'm honored to be the voice today that represents the different Vietnam organizations and, more importantly, all the names inscribed on the wall. My theme for today is Smile on Your Brother. I think that many of us that went to Nam have very similar stories. Mine is of a hometown boy, Timothy, one of my best friends from Chicago. We went to school together, played football together, had our first beer together, got drunk together for the very first time. We were pretty close. The draft, or the selective service system, was in full operation in the summer of 1966. You can't comprehend the looming feeling of helplessness that the inevitability of being drafted had over us, especially for those of us that weren't considering a college education. It was coming, and there was no way around it. Timothy G. Fitzmaurice, like myself, wasn't waiting to be drafted. He was taking control over his situation by serving his country on his own terms. He signed up for what he thought was the Marine Corps Reserves. One drill a month, 2 weeks a year. This was going to be easy. We were pretty young, we were very naive. Tim actually started his active duty in Guantanamo Bay, but over time he became determined in wanting to fight for his country in Vietnam. Tim was eventually assigned to Mike Company, 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines, Mike 3-5. Like Tim, I was born and raised in Chicago. I'm the oldest of 9. I went to work right out of high school. My number was coming up. I joined the Navy Reserves. I didn't want to get drafted. I didn't want to go to Nam. But through a series of events beyond my control, I was on a plane and landed at Tan Son Nhut Air Base in Saigon, Vietnam on November 13th, 1968. Spent my first week in country at the Navy base in Saigon, so named the Annapolis Hotel. A beautiful hotel wrapped in concrete barriers, sandbags, and barbed wire, heavily fortified with Browning 30 and 50 caliber machine guns. The hotel was my first stop in country before processing in the Navy, before they sent me to my final destination somewhere in the Mekong Delta. First night in country, I'm standing the 2000 to 2400 hour watch at the main entrance to the hotel. I'm manning a 30 caliber machine gun. I'd never even seen one before. How does this thing work? Easy. Load the ammo belt, pull back the slide, pull the trigger when necessary. You learn fast. Bottom line was, I was extremely nervous. I was very scared. When it was time to leave Saigon for my final destination, I got my orders to report to the USS Jennings County LST-846 tank landing ship. I was told the ship was about 98 miles from Saigon on the Basik River in the Mekong. How do I get there? We really don't care, but if you're not there in 24 hours, you're considered AWOL. Where the hell else was I going? After a Hercules C-130 cargo plane ride, a couple of PBR rides, a couple of rides in a Huey, I ended up at the Navy base in Bentui, a few miles from the JC, one last boat ride in an LCVP, and I made it to the Jennings with time to spare. The Jennings County was part of Task Force 116. She was a floating mobile support base for PBR river patrol boats and Black Hawk helicopter gunships, both Hueys and Cobras. We were part of the Brownwater Navy, better known as River Rats. Again, everybody's story coming in country is similar to some degree regardless of your branch of service. When you arrive, the look, the stares on the guys' faces that have been in country for a while are kind of like a scene out of a movie. You look in their eyes, you see the fear, you see the dread, you see the emptiness. We were all scared shitless and felt alone. During my 2 tours in Vietnam, I engaged in a number of firefights, and maybe someday I'll share some of those stories. I was fortunate, though. I was lucky. I was able to make my way back home, at least physically, in one piece. For Tim, the outcome was totally different. The 5th Marine Regiment spent the entire month of February 1968 in brutal house-to-house fighting to liberate the city away. Then they moved right into Operation Baxter Garden, Operation Houston, and finally for Tim, Operation Houston 2. Atop Hill 1192, a depleted regiment of only about 90 men against 600 plus NBA regulars, a fierce battle ensued. Eventually, Mike 3-5 took the hill, but not without many casualties. Tim was the last of 13 of his brothers to die that day on May 9th, 1968 in Tuat Tien, South Vietnam. Tim's death was accidental. He was killed by friendly fire during the extremely close firefight. The 5th Marine Regiment and the NBA were so close that some were engaged in hand-to-hand combat. The bodies from both sides lay side by side. Lance Corporal Tim paid the ultimate price as a combat Marine. He made the ultimate sacrifice. His family still hears the echoes of Vietnam. Most of us know someone or know of someone whose name is inscribed on the wall. A buddy, a high school friend, a brother, an uncle, a grandfather, a father. It's important and it's an honor for the city of Cedar Falls and for AMVETS Post 49 to host the wall during this year's tour of our great country. Take time to pay your respects. May we never forget. When the Vietnam Veterans Memorial was being built, the wall contained the names of 57,939. There are currently 58,315 names on the wall, which includes both KIAs and MIAs. And there are still 1,600 MIAs. It does not, however, include the names of those that have succumbed to conditions caused by Agent Orange. Tens of thousands of artifacts have been laid at the wall. Things such as POW, MIA, commemorative, bracelets, military medals, dog tags, religious items, roach clips, Zippo lighters, photographs, combat boots, and many flags, just to name a few. And Tori from the wall was telling us last night that there are over 400,000 artifacts that have been laid at the wall since its opening. Words can never express the gratitude we owe as a nation to all the brave men and women that have served and still serve today to keep us safe and free. I'll wrap up by saying thank you for being here today. Visit the wall. Look for the name of someone you know, a brother you served with, a friend. a lost loved one. If you want, Timothy G. Fitzmaurice's name is on panel 57E. He's the last name on line 20. Pay him a visit. He would like that. Rest in peace, my dear friend. I'll catch up to you someday. As you visit the wall, touch the granite. Feel the inscriptions. Become one with the name, and remember to smile on your brother. Thank you.